Hello, everyone. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. It is time to start a new week. As a little reminder, you actually have an extension for those assignments that you had due tonight, Tuesday at midnight. You actually have an extension until Thursday at midnight. So go ahead and get all those assignments in for me. But I wanted to go ahead and make a video for the week 3 assignments. Because I know some of you will go ahead and get started. You'll also have an extension next week, so the things that are due on Tuesday of next week, which is New Year's, will be due on Thursday night. So that's just a reminder too, but I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about the week 3 assignments. So the first thing that you need to do is read chapters 6 and 7. Now these are very information-laden chapters that have to do with DNA and genetics. I am not going to tell you that this is going to be the easiest reading that you have done. Personally, I love genetics. I mean, my research was in genetics. I absolutely love genetics. I thought about being a genetics counselor, but I decided instead to earn my PhD at Clemson in microbiology. So that tells you that I do love genetics. That being said, not everybody finds that this material is very easy. So I would encourage you just to look up some YouTube videos on, say, for example, transcription and translation to help you understand what that is. And I'll also be looking for some videos, and if I get a chance, I will post links to those in the announcement section for this week. But do watch some YouTube videos to help you with some of this information. There's also a short video in the weekly content section about genetics and DNA, so be sure and watch that. So after you've done your background information, then you can start doing your work. The discussion board postings, you have 3 total once again this week, just like every week. You have an initial post that's due on Sunday night, and then your 2 other response posts are due by Thursday of next week at midnight. The instructions for this week are that you should discuss how a potential mutation can cause genetic change, which can then lead to cancer. So I made this little diagram for you so that you could keep this in mind as you're writing this discussion board post. And let me mention a couple of things. A mutation is really very simple. A mutation is a change in the base sequence of DNA, in the information that's in the DNA. So how does a change in the DNA lead to a change in genes? The gene for eye color, there's so many genes. How does this lead to a change in the genes that are present in the DNA? And then how could that possibly lead to cancer formation? And I will tell you that anytime cancer cells form in your body, several different mutations have to happen in that cell before a cell can turn into a cancer cell. So all of this is related. So I gave you this little diagram to help you remember what it is you're discussing in that discussion board posting. How does a potential mutation turn into a genetic change and then turn into cancer? Okay, you have a writing assignment that's also due this week. And I have helped to clarify some of the instructions on this. The instructions tell you to explain to a couple about a genetic disorder, signs and symptoms of that, etc. So anyway, you're supposed to take on the role of being a genetic counselor, and you're talking to a couple who've had a baby and they found out that the baby has a genetic disorder or disease. So the first thing that I would like for you to do is choose a genetic disease or disorder. The National Human Genome Research Institute, I had to think about it for a second. The National Human Genome Research Institute has a website, and I've put the link right here on the PowerPoint presentation, where you can find information about genetic disorders. Now, this organization is part of NIH, the National Institutes of Health, and I have actually traveled there and spent a whole week at the Institute with their scientists, with the leading geneticists in the whole country, and it was just a fantastic event in my life. It's one of the greatest things that I've ever done. So this institute is wonderful, and part of their mission is to educate people. So use this link to help you choose a disorder or a disease. And then once you click on that particular disorder, you learn all kinds of information about that disease or disorder. I hate for you just to be chasing around all over the internet trying to find these, so I'm giving you a link. So here are the things that you're supposed to discuss. What are the signs and the symptoms of this disorder? Because you realize that if you have parents of a baby who have a child with a disorder, that they want to know what it is they're supposed to be looking for in this child and when are the symptoms going to show up. Also, you need to explain how this particular disease or disorder is inherited. So do we know which chromosome it's on? Is this a sex-linked trait? Does it show up on an X chromosome or a Y chromosome? Is it a recessive trait? Is it a dominant trait? There's so many things that you can find about different disorders and how they're inherited. So, of course, the parents would like to know this. How is this disorder inherited? And then finally, you also need to talk to the parents about why this disorder doesn't show up in every single family member. Because they're thinking, well, I don't have this disorder and my partner doesn't have this disorder, so why does my child have this? So you want to be able to explain that to the parents also. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to ask me, email me about this. This is my specialty, so I love questions about genetics. So please, please, please email me if you have any questions. And then finally, the last thing to do for the week is to take that week 3 quiz. Shouldn't be any problems with the quizzes now. So just remember to get all of this done. The last 2 discussion board postings, the writing assignment, and the week 3 quiz are all due by next Thursday at midnight. Now, if I were you, I wouldn't get too far behind, so if you can complete them by Tuesday, that would be wonderful. All right, and have a good week, and have a Happy New Year.